Recording live from Glory Hole Studios in Chicago and beyond. This is Cognitive Dissonance. Every episode we blast anyone who gets in our way. We bring critical thinking, Cecil's cell phone, and skepticism.
Sorry about that.
I don't care, man. To any topic that makes the news, makes it big, or makes us mad. It's skeptical. It's political. And there is no welcome, Matt. Cecil, we are back.
We're back,
We are back. It is July 20th. We are recording Thursday, July 20th.
Oh, man.
You're back from vacation.
Yeah.
We haven't seen each other in four weeks.
How you been, buddy?
It's a long time, Cecil.
Been good?
I've been great, man. We got together first time in 4 weeks. I came up to the studio and we got recording late because we just got to bullshit.
Yeah, I know, we started talking
If we get a little slap happy,
yeah.
it's because we spent the last 2.5 hours catching up.
Before we start, we got to talk about, we're going to be on YouTube. So if you're watching this, it's on YouTube this week. So hello, YouTube.
YouTube.
Because they removed our strike.
They did remove our strike.
We are back now on YouTube. If you are listening to this, chances are you're listening to this ahead of when it actually played on YouTube. If you're watching it again, because I know that there are some people who do that, it is playing in the evening on YouTube instead of on Twitch. So you don't go to Twitch anymore to watch it. You go to YouTube. Now we may, depending on if we get messages, put it on Twitch as well somehow, but we're not sure how that's going to work. The other important thing is that we are going to be live streaming this upcoming August, the third week of the month. Hopefully on that Thursday, we'll be recording, we'll be doing a live stream. So, as planned, who knows what happens? Things get shifted and things get moved, but fingers crossed that's going to work. But I also wanted to show the people on YouTube.
This is so great.
Amazing thing.
Look at this.
Now this was sent to us by Tamara, and Tamara sent us this Cognitive Dissonance folded. This is not cut. This is folded into a holy Bible they yoinked from a fucking hotel.
That's so
great. Which is the greatest thing. And evidently this was a pain in the ass to do. And Tamara crushed this. This is amazing. It says
it's
Cognitive Dissonance folded in here. I think you can see that. I don't know if it's out of focus. I hope it's not. It's even with my face, so it can't be, right? It's got to be. So
focused.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sending this in. This is so cool. It's going to sit behind me on the little thing here right in front of me.
That's a kingly gift. That's really, really cool.
Not only do we have that, but then we also have this book that was sent to us.
Yeah, that's our book.
And this book is our book, and our book was rebound.
Beautifully
rebound by someone who sent this in.
I had a good friend of mine years ago who did book binding. That's a lot of work. I can't imagine how much work it is to do the book binding, to take apart an existing book and book bind it, fold these pages so they say contest. I can barely read a book. And when I say barely, what I mean is I fall asleep every time I try to read a book.
I started to too, yeah. I do the same thing when I meditate. If I meditate or read a book, I fall asleep.
Haley is very, very good at meditating.
Yeah.
So over the last few years, she's gotten very good at meditating, and I have gotten very good at taking 10-minute naps.
That's what I do. I nap every single time.
I pass out.
They say that if you meditate and you take a nap while you're meditating, that you were meant to sleep, and that's okay. And I'm like, I love you meditating people. You guys are my favorite. Because I wish they did that at church, where you're just like, you were praying and you fell asleep, and that meant God wanted you to fall asleep. Like, man, send me to church all the time. I want to sleep all the time.
If that's the benchmark, then no matter what the activity is, I was meant to sleep.
You're meant to sleep. It doesn't matter.
We go to this once a week or so. We go to this restorative yoga. It's this very gentle, like you hold a position for like 8, 9, 10 minutes at a time. And these very gentle, like restorative poses. It's something like for Haley to kind of help with some of the stuff she's going through. We go, I've never stayed awake during it. Like never. There's an end part to it where there's like a meditation portion. And I'll get nudged because I'm snoring in class.
That's amazing.
I've never, you know me. There's no chance.
I know.
There's no chance I'm going to be awake.
I have to nudge him while he's eating sometimes. He'll be mid pizza slice. Wake up, buddy. Wake up. I got to give him wake up.
God.
That's amazing. All right. Tom.
Yes, sir.
We're back in the studio with modern things that are happening, not recording deep into the future. Did anything happen while I was gone? Any important things?
Anything important happened while you were gone? I'll tell you what, Cecil, I'm not going to lie. While you were gone, I took a pretty significant news break.
Did you?
Yeah.
Good for you. So did I. Yes, I don't know what happened.
I didn't like, I mean, I still like listen to the Daily every day, and I still listen to like What Next it's a Slate podcast, but I did not open up, I don't think more than once or twice, like the Times app and just read the newspaper like I do every day.
Yeah.
I didn't listen to like NPR. I didn't listen to the 7. I just kind of like all the daily, like, I just took a step back.
Took a step back, yeah.
I
saw that there were some things that were happening. I saw that there was some rumblings about possibility of Donald Trump might get indicted again. There's a possibility of grand jury tomorrow. I thought that they said that there's a possibility of grand jury. Might hear some stuff tomorrow.
Well, you know, when it happens, it happens.
That the electors, the false electors.
The fake electors in Michigan. I think there's some hullabaloo about whether or not
I saw some of that, but I was out of the country, so I wasn't seeing a ton of stuff.
Isn't that nice, man?
It really is nice. It's really nice. And I didn't, you know, the thing is I did have access to Fox News, but I also had access to BBC and like Sky News too. So I was watching more of that. And that was and that's like world stuff.
Right.
It's not just, hey, here's how America sucks. It's like, hey, here's how the world sucks. Also, it's on fire.
Well, and it's the all that happened like while you were gone, Cecil, is everything got all the hot.
Yeah, hot.
Like we basically.
Well, it was hot and wet. Evidently, it was wet too.
Hey.
So Caliente.
And if you want to get hot and wet,
abortions for all. Very well. No abortions for anyone. Abortions for some, miniature American flags for others.
This story comes from the Washington Post. Blue state doctors launch abortion pill pipeline into states with bans. So this is essentially a medical care underground railroad.
Yeah.
This is like, you know, actually, this is like Silk Road, you know? Like we are treating genuine care, not drugs of recreation, but genuine drugs of care and necessity.
Oh, yeah, interesting.
As if they were drugs of recreation now. They have to go through a Byzantine black market.
Yeah, black market style. Yeah.
You know, because that's essentially what's been created in these fucking trash states.
Yeah.
They have forced doctors to perform medicine under the radar at terrible risk to themselves, Cecil.
Yeah, that's the thing that draws me is that these people who are prescribing this medication, they're using a system outside of the country that sends those drugs over, and they're using it to get the drugs and then repackage them in smaller packages and send them so they don't know where they're coming from. Because these states could sort of figure out.
Try to backtrace.
They'll block that stuff from coming in. So they want to stop these abortion drugs from getting in. But this person will repackage them and send them all over and send them to states where they can't get them, right? So this person is working from New York, and New York has passed these laws recently that allow this sort of thing to happen, where the drugs come in and then they're able to go back out again. And there's a couple of these states that are doing this to sort of show that we can care for people outside our state, right? Someone outside our state needs help and we can care for them. The problem is that inside these states, there is a chance that this person who's sending it out, this doctor who's sending it out to people, they could be brought up on charges in that state as big as attempted murder in some of these states. We're talking years behind bars if they get caught doing this, but that hasn't slowed them the tiniest bit.
It hasn't. And there has been floated, and I don't know if it's been passed, but there has been floated in some of the blue states that they're just going to be like, yeah, we're not going to comply with extradition on these grounds to other states. Now, that is a huge testing ground, right? Because like interstate extradition, I don't know that they would win that. I don't know if they wouldn't, right? But like interstate extradition has been something which was unquestionably done because we're the same country, right? You can't kill somebody in Ohio and then flee to Indiana, and then Indiana's like, well, who'd you kill? Well, this guy. Well, yeah, fuck that guy. We're not going to extradite you. Like you just get to get away with murder over state lines. this country's become so fractious and so divided that, you know, you cross a state line and we are living in different worlds. And I am really worried here. I mean, if you did not have enough, and if you didn't have enough, I literally can't understand who you are. But if you did not have enough reasons to go to the polls and fucking vote, and to vote blue, and I don't give a shit, to vote blue no matter who, here is what will happen. I feel like this is a guarantee. Here's what will happen if the Republicans had the House, the Senate,
100%, Tom,
and the executive branch, right?
100%.
What they would do is pass a law making it illegal for doctors to practice medicine with patients that live over a state line.
Yeah.
They will draw a fucking hard line of fucking practice demarcation. That is just going to be true. That is just going to be true. And then your guy in New York is not going to be able to take a telehealth visit with somebody sitting in, or like a doctor in Illinois will not be able to take a patient based on where they live, right? Like if I want to drive over from Missouri into Illinois to get care because Missouri is a fucking trash state, they may or may not be able to do that. Or they want to drive in from Wisconsin. They may or may not be able to do that. Federal legislation will be floated and passed if they control the House, the Senate, and the executive branch.
I mean, also, all they have to do is ban this pill.
Yeah. Oh,
right?
yeah.
So if they ban this pill, then there needs to be something else that comes out that is similar. And if it's similar, it might also be banned in this way, right? And that's not something, if this gets banned, if abortion gets banned, if, you know, all these things that could fall, the Supreme Court that we have now is 100% going to uphold those laws.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Those will not be unconstitutional.
No.
The moment they ban the day after whatever pill or whatever this is, the abortive pill, this will 100% be upheld if it gets turned into a law. And expect that to happen if they have all three branches of government. Expect 100%. It to happen. Expect it. That will happen. So they've already said, I mean, hell, Pence is running on a platform that says he wants to ban abortion. Yeah. I mean, Pence is running on that. It got me thinking about sanctuary cities, where there's an idea that certain cities aren't going to comply with federal laws. But that's different than complying with another state's laws, right? But there is a weirdness here, because you're talking about murder. Well, murder is bad everywhere. There's nobody who's going to be like, well, you can kind of murder here. That's okay. You can kind of, I guess, Florida, stand your ground. But you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, there's not a lot of places where they're going to be like, you can kind of, there are wildly different rules about things in different places. And so that extradition stuff, that's going to be flexed. There's going to be some pull back and forth because they're wildly different rules. Yeah. And I think these two different places.
Yeah. I think that the federal, and I could be wrong about this, but it has always been my understanding that one of the jobs of the federal marshals was to be this sort of, go get them, boys, if somebody has crossed state lines, right?
Yeah.
And then the local, the Indiana police can't find you, and you're wanted in Ohio and you've crossed state lines. Like, the federal government has mechanisms, not just people, but also mechanisms to help enforce the extradition between states.
Another reason to have a blue, because then they wouldn't do it.
Right.
Yeah.
We have to, we cannot put ourselves in a place as a country where we allow the Republicans to take control ever again.
Yeah. This is sudden death of your rights.
It is.
That's what it is.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Right now, the pill abortion is typically, in America, it's typically a 2-pill protocol. So there's a pill, it's mifepristone, and then there's another pill that also starts with an M that I can't remember off the top of my head. And they're having a hard time.
I'm sorry.
What is it? Mephistopheles? But I know that in parts of Europe, they just use one pill. They don't use both pills because one pill is effective very, very often. It's just that 2 pills is less unpleasant and a little bit more effective.
I see.
And so I do also think that we may be reduced in America to using the 1-pill method like they do in parts of Europe, because that pill would be very difficult to ban. It's used for many other things. So, but like, we're talking about reducing our availability of better, more efficacious, more compassionate care in order to move our way around these political obstacles. It's a horror show, man. It's a fucking nightmare. It's fucking Handmaid's Tale shit. It's like, do you live in Gilead or not Gilead?
It is.
I am fucking flabbergasted. We talked just before we got on the record. When I was driving here, I was listening to a podcast. I was catching up on the news. I was like, oh shit, I got to do a news show. I was catching up on a podcast. I don't remember which one. And they were covering the case that's now being heard where a bunch of women, and this is egregious as fuck, a bunch of women who had suffered terrible pregnancy complications and they were denied access to care because they lived in Texas. And they were suing Ken Paxton, the attorney general in Texas. And they were giving testimony. And when they were giving testimony, they were describing in just vivid, gut-wrenching detail. I mean, it was so upsetting, Cecil, that according to this podcast I was listening to, and it was either like, it was like What Next, like a Slate podcast or one of these big news podcasts. Like, even the attorneys for the state defending were crying listening to this. I mean, it's like we've reached that level of human impact.
Yeah.
And still, they are saying, well, and here, one of the ways they tried to get the case thrown out, Cecil, is they said, well, since these women are no longer pregnant, they don't have standing any longer because they're no longer being harmed by the state. So they were harmed, but they're not actively being harmed now, and any future harm is hypothetical. We're talking about like that kind of like fucking verbal gymnastics and ethical backflips that are being asked of people. To like, how can you look somebody in the eye and be like, yeah, I know that like you miscarried because you weren't allowed access to care and you became septic and you were in the hospital for a week. But you know what? Because you're not pregnant now, you don't have standing to sue. And they're trying to dismiss based on that. They asked one of the women who, I think they asked all of the women actually the same question. All of the women who gave testimony, the attorney for the state defending Ken Paxton said, did Ken Paxton personally tell you not to have an abortion?
Yeah,
and these women are like,
by passing a law.
Right. Yeah. Like in his capacity as attorney general.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, right.
Yes, he did.
So, but they were forced to be like, I never spoke
with him. Yeah.
Right.
Wow. I guess the best type of right is technically right.
Yeah. It's gotten,
God, that's so pedantic and
it's
stupid. How does that even get passed? I just don't get, sometimes I just don't understand the law, man.
Wouldn't you want to stand up and walk out if you were a juror?
Wouldn't you as the judge just want to reach down and be like, come here, lean in, lean in.
Right.
I just want to whack you one.
Yeah.
Just lean in real quick.
I'm sorry, this court should be full of serious people. You're seriously an asshole.
Bailiff, hit him with a stick until he stops.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's
there
what
should be
there should be like, just like, and make it just like a wiffle ball bat. I don't want to hurt him. I just want him to be I just want him to sting a little while he's getting
just like
walloped.
and it should make like a funny sound.
Like, and it should actually be painted like a giant dick too. So you just get walloped with a wiffle ball bat that looks like a dick.
There should be a courtroom dunce stick. If you make an argument,
there's gonna be a hat. You have to wear the hat.
Wear the stupid hat.
Wear the stupid hat.
Okay, counsel, in the corner.
The corner where you're dunce.
I'm sorry. Did you say what was she wearing? In the corner, counsel. The corner.
Actually, I want you to go outside and paint a fence and listen to what you did. Think about what you did.
This bitch.
This story comes from the New Republic. Class, Boebert literally tosses pin honoring school shooting victim in the trash.
What is class? Class is just like saying like
she's got no class. Yeah,
so
I think. Yeah, I know. It's so bitchy.
Oh, it's so bitchy.
It's so bitchy.
I put on the big screen. That is so bitchy, Tom. I love it so much.
And I think there's video. I think you can watch the video.
Okay, so we can watch these real quick. Now these don't have a lot of sound. I don't think there's a ton of sound here, but we'll watch it. Oh, you got to go to Twitter now to watch it. Interesting.
Yay, Twitter.
All right, so let me.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
We hope you take action on gun violence prevention.
Okay, so
holy shit.
So that's part one, and then here's part two. And I'm going to describe what we just saw to the people at home that are just listening. So here's what we just saw. Lauren Boebert walking really fast in a pair of heels. And
desperately trying to avoid
genuinely
questions.
Like it's like when somebody is coming up and they're going to ask you for money and you try to run. Like, no. It's like when a guy tries to sell me siding and I start to walk really fast. So what happened was for the people who aren't watching, Lauren Boebert is just walking down the halls of the Congress, and as someone walks up and says, "Hey, here's a pin from someone who was killed in Uvalde. It's a pair of gym shoes."
Yep, that they were wearing.
That they're wearing.
When they were murdered.
You can wear it, because they were wearing their fucking AR-15 pins, right? So they can easily just put this pin, just actually aim the AR-15 pin at the shoes, and that's very accurate. That's an accurate way in which we. But in any case, they hand her this pin, and she takes it in her hand, and she walks faster. Yep. She speeds up, walks faster, and then throws it in the garbage. They know she throws it in the garbage because they walk right past her with the camera that's cut, and they show it inside the garbage.
Yeah, and they ask her, like, will you take action to prevent, gun violence? And she says no. Yeah. She says no, and I grabbed this story because it is what I like is that it is a succinct fucking answer to a cogent, clear question. Will you take action? So the actual question, let me make sure I read it real quick. I don't want to paraphrase.
She immediately said,
I hope you can take action on gun violence prevention. And she said, no. Yeah. And that's the Republican stance. Yeah. Will you help? Hey, people are getting shot, like little fucking kids in the dozens now are being murdered while they're at school. And like, hey, here's a pin. Maybe we should, will you help? Will you do anything? No. They're not even like, there's not even a pretense toward action. Yeah. The answer is the perfect answer. And I think what's important here is that we listen to her. Yeah. I want people to know and to listen and to be like, this is all these fuckers. Yeah. This is every Republican, right? We don't need to listen to them give their fucking, background checks and enforce the laws that are already on books. Just skip all of it. Skip all of it. All of it's nothing. The question is simple. Will you take action to prevent gun violence? No.
Asked
and answered. Yeah. That's the stance.
Yeah. And think about this in a different context. Think about this not as gun control. Let's imagine that there's a bunch of people out in the world and they're upset about how fast. Let's say they're saying 70 miles an hour is too fast on your roads. Too many people are dying. There's too many. We got to slow down on the roads. Let's just say that's what their stance is. And they have a little ribbon with like a steering wheel or something on it. And they walk up to somebody. Even if you don't agree with them, right? Yeah. I don't agree with those people. Like, no, 70 miles an hour is fine. People die, but we take a modicum of risk when we get into a car. Let's say I don't agree with them.
Right.
What kind of person would you be to say to that person who lost somebody and say, not only do I disagree, I am going to throw away this pin that represents the person that you lost. Yeah. What kind of fucking grotesque human being do you have to be to not only disagree with this policy, but disagree with it so vehemently that you're willing to hurt the people who lost someone with a brazen act of just being a fucktard? Yeah. Like, what is wrong with you?
These are gargoyles.
Human being. Yeah. You're a bad person. Yeah. There's nothing good in you.
Nothing good. These are fucking gargoyles, man. That's what these fucking people are. Like, the reason they're able to throw that away is they never cared and they're not here to help. Yeah. They're here. They don't have like some principled stance, right? Like, it's not like they're saying, I have a principled stance about driving and freedom, and they're just saying like, I won't help. Yeah. I don't care. Yeah. I won't even hold this pin in reverence to the lost life of someone. I don't care. And like throwing away that pin, she knows this is going to get put on video. Yeah. And the thing is that, man, throwing away that pin and saying, I don't give a fuck, and here's who I am, and I will never help, and I'll never fix gun control. there is a segment of the population, which is not insignificant, which will vote this horrible fucking gargoyle back into office because not like even though, but because she's a horrible gargoyle. Because the gargoyle contingent of this country is real.
No, and I disagree. And what makes me crazy is that I think about the conversations that used to happen that would have been a lot more measured. Yeah. Someone would, hand that pin to Mitt Romney. And
he's not throwing it away.
He's not throwing it away. Now, he's never going to vote on anything that is gun control related. He comes from a place where that is frowned upon and his constituency doesn't want it and he doesn't want it. And so there's never a chance he's going to do it.
Right.
But if you gave that pin to him, there's a different response and a different something else happens at the end of that. You input those numbers, that equation, and then later on, the answer is different. That he might say something like, "Oh, I'm so sorry that they lost all their lives. I will keep this pin, etc." I respect whatever he says. Whatever politician it's not hard to fucking be against this stuff and still take that pin. It doesn't take that much. It takes like a 75, like a room temperature IQ. That's what you need. You need to be a room temperature IQ in order to even just take that pin and not vote for something. It's okay. I mean, there's so many. You don't even have to be a crafty politician to do it.
No,
you inarticulate
You don't need to get your fucking PR guy out here to craft a statement.
100% do it.
So I got to ask you a question. I think it's actually an important question. Are we better or worse off that the politicians now are not even bothering with the symbols of politeness?
Did we care before? Do you think we cared before?
Because while you were talking, when you were saying Mitt Romney would not vote to change. What's different is if you don't vote to change, there's not functionally a difference between Mitt Romney and Lauren Boebert, right? Because they both have power. They both refuse to use the power to make the world better and safer. So functionally they're the same. What's different is that a guy like Mitt Romney is still bothering with the polite symbols. And the new contingent of politics, we're not bothering with those polite symbols anymore. And I don't honestly know if that's better because it's more honest in some way, or if it's worse because it encourages an amplification of meanness.
I think it models bad behavior.
See, I feel like that too. My gut tells me it amplifies cruelty.
That's the problem. I think it models the bad behavior, and people think that bad behavior is okay. I think that as crazy as it sounds, I feel like people got their cues on behavior from politicians more than we cared to admit before. And I think that as they have changed and as things have morphed and as the mask has come off, more and more people are getting their cues from politicians. As I think they always have.
They've become,
but I think that I think that now it feels more obvious. Maybe I'm wrong, and I'm happy to hear another someone else's ideas on why that might be. But I'll tell you what, they certainly are modeling bad behavior. And if they're modeling that bad behavior, I'm seeing it picked up in other places where it wasn't before.
And I don't think you're wrong, because I think that what we're seeing is a convergence of politics and influencer culture.
Yeah.
And politicians are becoming their own kind of influencer.
Yeah.
And so when the politics begins to be I think I'm settled on this question. I think when the politics becomes reflective and reflexive cruelty, when cruelty becomes a kind of political heroism, then we endorse and magnify and amplify cruelty as a value.
Yes.
And I think that that's kind of the place we're moving into, where because Lauren Boebert, what she did is the same as Mitt Romney, but it's also not, because while they both were refusing to make change, she's injecting cruelty into the system.
Yeah.
Right? And that cruelty will make of her a hero to other people seeking to make cruelty a heroistic virtue.
Something of virtue. Yeah. Cruelty of virtue.
And that's a snowball of shit that rolls downhill and gets bigger and worse.
Listen, every week, cruelty is not a virtue. We say it every
What a fucking horrible.
Yeah, man, no, she's horrible, dude. She's horrible.
person.
And watch this happen, and you just think to yourself, you're a person who has great sway over how the country turns and shifts. You are a person who has great sway over that. You're a person who has the ear of millions of people whenever you want it. And at your whim. I mean, she can be on any talk show you want to be.
Yeah, if she called MSNBC, CNN,
Doesn't matter.
she's getting an
Name
interview.
it. She'll get on.
She's getting an interview.
Get on.
These are power. It's like the fucking, it in many ways, it's like the hypocrisy and absurdity of those fucking howler monkey assholes who wrote like silenced, like Marjorie Taylor Greene did.
Oh, yeah.
She went to Congress with a piece of tape on her mouth that said like silenced. And it's like, how the fuck are you silenced?
Yeah, you're the least silenced person ever.
How the fuck are you
Yeah.
silenced?
Yeah.
Outrageous.
Yeah.
Pick up the phone. You get an interview in front of millions of people
millions of
tomorrow,
people.
and you're silenced.
Yeah.
And it's because she got kicked off her committee assignments for like anti-Semitic conspiracy theory, like insanity.
Yeah.
Like insanity.
But then got him back. And
Now
Tom-
she's got him all back.
And let's talk for a second.
talk about her.
Let's talk
She's the
about her
worst.
because she's a really genuinely terrible person.
Look, I'm not saying, here's the thing. You know how you're not supposed to put all the most important people on the same airplane?
Yeah.
I'm just leaving that out there. That's all I'm doing. I'm just leaving that out there.
That's the one you're just rolling the dice
I'm
every
just
time.
saying.
Come on. Go.
La la bamba. All right, this story also from the New Republic. Republicans have so little Hunter Biden evidence they shared his nudes instead. That's not a joke.
That's not a joke.
So
it's not a joke. The images, you can't see them on Fox News. I'm going to put these on the big screen
Because
so you can
they're
see
fucking
them.
nudes,
Because they're
man.
like it's him like throat fucking somebody. Like he's getting a blowy from somebody, and there's a picture, and she's got this uncensored version in Congress showing everyone this image of Hunter Biden getting a blowjob.
This is a stolen image.
Yeah.
This is non-consensually shared.
Yeah.
This is a stolen image.
This is revenge porn.
This is absolutely revenge porn.
Revenge porn.
How is this legal? How in the fuck is this legal? This is insane. Like if somebody found, I guarantee, if somebody stole Marjorie Taylor Greene's cell phone, this is the same thing. If somebody stole her cell phone and she had fucking sex vids out of her and her guy on her cell phone, and somebody like showed them to the world.
In Congress.
Don't you think she would lose her fucking mind? Don't you think she would sue or yell and scream or say that was unethical? It's literally the same thing. This has nothing to do with corruption or they've got nothing on any of that.
That's
right?
nothing. It has nothing to do with anything. It has nothing to do with anything. I don't even know why it was brought up.
Yeah.
Like I can't even.
To humiliate.
Like what they're trying to say is that he's a sex trafficker now.
Right.
Like now they're.
Because he had sex with somebody that appears to be, like there's no implication that the person he's having sex with is underage.
And you know, what they're trying to do is they're trying to play into the conspiracy theories about how the people on the left are sex traffickers, killing people, adrenochrome. I mean, all that stuff, all that insanity, all that Q insanity, they are playing up to it. And this feeds that for them. So they want to get it out in the public record so they can get the Q people on their side. Do you know how rabidly the Q people have got to be flipping their shit?
Oh, they got to be loving
now?
this.
They got to love this stuff, even though it's revenge porn. It's awful.
100%.
He's not a public figure that should be being investigated like this. There's no reason
He has
to do
no
it.
connection to the government except for that he happens to be the son of the president. He's not, it's not like all the fucking kids of Trump that all had goddamn high-level cabinet jobs and shit.
They've never been part of any administration. And I think everybody can look at Hunter Biden and be like, maybe he should have made better choices. But but fucking who cares?
I don't care.
Like everyone in the world should make better choices. There's not a person who's immune.
I should have made some better choices.
Like I've made bad choices in my life. I've made good choices. But seriously, there's nobody who's immune to that. So like the idea that someone's going to put you up on this in the middle of this congressional hearing and call out your worst choices that you made. Like, I made really terrible choices in my life. I would hate to have a congressional hearing about those choices.
I know.
For no reason other than I'm somehow tangentially related to someone who's powerful.
And like, the thing is, like, with these pictures in particular, they don't even seem to represent a bad choice.
Yeah.
He's just having sex with somebody and filmed it. That's not like,
Yeah.
there's nothing like, that's an ethically amoral thing to do.
No.
It lives in a space of le shrug.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These are Christians that, like, all on the right, right? On the right is a bunch of fucking Christians. These should be the glass houses people, right? Let he who is without sin cast the first stone. Jesus, they're gonna fucking stone a fucking adulterer, right? Jesus rolls up. Hey, man. Like,
Hey.
y'all got fucking clean hands. And they're all like, absolutely not. And then they piece the fuck out. And Jesus is like, stand up, bitch. Let's walk. That's the fucking sin. They're all
That's
just like,
the story.
That's the
That's
story.
the story.
That's your story.
I mean,
that's not my
Yeah,
story. I don't believe that ever happened.
Like that stuff. I don't even care. Yeah.
Like, that's your story. And you're just like, here's his nudes. And I'm just like, cool, man. What if, like, fucking nudes of Tom get leaked? I'd be like, weird. Why are you looking at my nudes, weirdo? I'm not that good looking.
Yeah, his whole thing though is that he had to plead for a crime that he committed.
Yeah,
you know,
and he did.
He's done some things that, you know, and you're like, okay, cool. That's fine, but it has nothing to do with anything.
This is
right?
nothing.
The bad choices he's made in his life, those he's done something about, right? He had to plead guilty for a couple of counts, and he's gonna have to serve time or probation
Suffer
or any of those
consequences.
things,
Yeah.
suffer those consequences. He reaped. Now he's got to sow. That's how
Yes.
it works,
Yep.
right? That's how it works. Or sows what he reaped, or I don't know how that saying works.
reap what you sow?
You reap what you sow, but I don't know if he's got to reap
So he
before he
sowed,
sows,
now
or
he's
sows
gotta
and then reaps.
reap.
I'm not a farmer. So here's the thing I want to tell you about, though.
He planted, and now there's
Well, he certainly planted
cucumbers.
I will say he planted. If you see this live, he definitely planted. But, you know, this whole thing is just what it is one, it's completely unrelated to anything that he was brought up on charges for. This is trying to make that laptop the center stage again, right? They're doing the best.
There's nothing on it,
because the things that he did wrong, he's already accounted for. And they're like, well, fuck, now what do we do?
Yeah.
Well, let's try to get this laptop back in here. And so what they're going to do is they're going to pull shit off the laptop and show it to everybody. That's a horrible thing to do. I can't believe that we are at a place now that this is okay. And one of the things that came out of this is that evidently she shared these images with a email message that she sent out. She might have distributed, I read,
revenge porn.
There's a possibility that she might have distributed revenge porn to minors who might have gotten that message.
I hope she goes to fucking prison for this.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, like, revenge porn, which is, I looked this up the other day for something unrelated. I was just curious about it. Like, I don't understand how, but in many states, it's not illegal.
Huh.
I did not know that. I think it's because I was wondering if
What states?
Like a lot of states. I'll have to look it back up again. But
I'm
like,
just looking where I'm going to get immunity.
Yeah.
That's all. I'm checking it out.
it's like kind of insane. Like, I think I looked it up because I was talking to somebody and they were getting the conversation of like dick pics came up, and then we were talking like, is it illegal to just send somebody? Like, it should be. I thought like it's got to be illegal to just send somebody an unsolicited.
It certainly is illegal if the camera isn't involved. Right? It's certainly illegal for me to pull my dick out and show it to you.
That's why I was like, that's got to be illegal.
I can't just pull my cock out and show it to people. That's illegal.
It's like crazy how few states
That's weird that it isn't.
this.
Now that you mention it, it never occurred to me. But now that you mention it, I'm thinking, well, it's just a picture of my dick. And that should also, I mean, like, just
if I flash somebody on the subway.
Just because it's a moment in time doesn't mean it's not as grotesque as flashing someone in person.
If I flash someone on the subway or I flash somebody on Facebook, it should be functionally identical.
I'm happy to hear the legal argument that fights against that. Right. I don't know what that would be, but in my mind, the moment you say that, I'm like, well, that seems like it should be illegal. Like, I don't think you should.
I hope she did email this out state to state to state. And I hope state after state after state that has laws against revenge porn come after her with felonies.
I hope so.
And I hope Hunter Biden comes after her.
I hope he sues
and I
the
hope he
fuck
sues
out of
her into oblivion.
I hope he sues the fuck out of her.
Every jurisdiction she pushed this out into.
Yeah.
I hope he hurts her financially
She's
and
protected
personally
here.
forever.
She's protected here. So putting it out there in Congress, she's
No
allowed.
repercussions.
There's
Yeah.
no repercussions. She can't be. I think
she's
it's
acting
very
as a member of
difficult.
Congress.
It's
Yeah.
very difficult to even get anything done like that. Like there's a very, very. They got big bumpers, right? They can bounce into the wall a lot, and there's a lot
And
of
to some
leeway.
degree, I understand that. To a large degree, I
Well,
understand that.
And you know why you understand that? It's because you never expected somebody so heinous and stupid to be in that office.
That's exactly right.
You know, you never expected somebody so bumbling yet evil to be in that office.
Yeah.
And so, of course, you would say, yeah, well, they should have all the protections. But the moment somebody does this, you think, well, maybe fucking not.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the note I wrote is like, there's nothing left in Congress.
Yeah.
Right? Congress has devolved into a place where there's no decorum. There's no politeness. There's nothing that, like, it used to be that some shit was beyond the pale. Do you remember the outrage? This will actually like take you back, but also, man, this was a minute ago. This was just a fucking minute ago. Do you remember the outrage at how insane it was when Obama was giving the State of the Union?
Oh, yeah.
And somebody yelled, liar!
Yeah.
Because you don't yell. Like the rule had always been that serious, polite, decent people do not yell out in the middle of the State of the Union and interrupt the president while he's speaking. And you know what? That's a good social etiquette rule. And where we're at now in Congress is there's essentially nothing left.
Yeah.
We can show fucking stolen revenge porn pictures to try to like whip up a conspiratorial Reddit sub. That's like what all this is aimed at is, man.
Yeah,
let's get the 4chan trolls out. Let's get these fucking, neckbeard trash monkeys out. Like that's what they're aiming for. Let me go get invited to one of these fucking garbage pack.
Yeah.
So I can get on Nick Fuentes'
one of these fucking
radar
white
again.
nationalists.
Right.
Yeah. Because they don't even care anymore.
They don't.
They don't even care anymore. You got Tommy fucking Tuberville saying, well, a white nationalist, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, you got people like that saying crazy shit like that. We live in a weird place, man.
Man, there's like nothing left where like we're just done being polite with each other. We're just done with that.
It's my money and I need it now.
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 It's your money. Use it when you need it.
Counterpoint, Tom.
This is good.
Counterpoint.
This is good.
Here's the thing.
I know we've been ranting
We've been
about a lot of
talking
bad stuff.
for a while about how there's no way to talk to each other. Well, it seems like
This is actually good.
there's an opportunity for somebody to talk to somebody.
So yeah, Cecil, this story is from CNN from their politics section. Senators introduce bipartisan ban on stock ownership for executive and the legislative branch office holders and their families.
And their families.
Fucking good.
And their families. And it's basically saying if you want to trade any kind of stocks, put it in a blind trust.
Yep.
It's got to go in a blind trust, and you don't get to have any kind of decision making, and not just you, but people in your family.
Yeah, you
too.
can't like whisper to your fucking wife or husband, hey man, you want to buy some, you want to dump that Tesla stock. We're about to fucking regulate this thing or that
or
thing.
you want to dump like what happened right before the pandemic. You want to dump all these stocks that you know are going to take a shit because of the pandemic, and a bunch of people did it. I mean, watch it happen.
Big money, man.
I mean, that's like fucking. If anybody else does that, that's insider trading.
Yeah.
If anybody else does that,
And the difference is that insider trading covers, it's like the SEC is in charge of that shit, and insider trading covers when I know something about a company that I work at. Well, the thing is, like, these politicians don't work at that company. They just know that the fucking rules, the laws, the regulations,
they know when
the secret fucking knowledge that they're privy to is going to affect stuff.
They know when shit's
Because sometimes they're the ones affecting that stuff.
They're the ones doing it. They're going to put shit in place to do bans and stuff like that or whatever. They're going to put a mask mandate in. They know for sure that like restaurants are going to suffer.
Hey
They know
guys,
for sure.
We're on the verge of passing a bill to regulate crypto. Let's all short sell Bitcoin. Cool. Like, by the way, cool. But like, for real, cool.
Yeah.
But like they have so much power and influence and back office knowledge. And the idea that like we're just now getting around to being like, hey man, maybe you shouldn't be able to leverage that for your own personal financial gain. Cause holy shit.
Yeah, man.
Cause holy shit.
The fact that it's Josh Hawley, like the only good thing that person's ever done in his history, period, is this. But I this is something that I think every American should be screaming for.
Absolutely.
Because this allows them to not be controlled by corporations as much too. There's a push there that allows for this, and this could be huge. This could be huge. And it could also, we talk about making it kind of be a pain point to be a senator.
Yeah.
If you're not making as much money because you can't game the system as much, maybe some of these people who've been in there forever, who are still gaming the system, maybe Pelosi walks away. You know, maybe other these people who've been making a lot of goddamn money, they're billionaire husbands or whatever, a lot of fucking money. Guess what? You just don't have that same sort of thing? Okay. Well, I guess I don't need to be you anymore. I'm going to go resign. I don't need to be here anymore. And if you make it so that they're not easily going to make money, then I think this might be a great thing for America.
Yeah, man. And like, I think, if you're one of these, think about how susceptible to lobbying you are.
Yeah.
If you hold stocks and you've got portfolios that are bound up in a whole bunch, let's say you've got a bunch of money as a senator. Let's say you're, I don't know, fucking that asshole in West Virginia. What the fuck's his name? That asshole he says he's a Democrat and he's really a shithead Republican.
Oh, yeah.
West Virginia coal mining piece of shit. I can't remember his name.
Cinema and Manchin. I have to remember him.
Manchin. Which of the two assholes?
I have to remember him in tandem or I don't remember him. It's like fucking Bert and Ernie.
You think that guy's not heavily personally invested in the stocks of these big coal companies? You think that like because of that, when like lobbyists for coal come knock on his door, he's not thinking about how regulating those industries or opening his area up to clean energy is going to impact his personal wealth?
Yeah.
Of course he is. Of course he is. He shouldn't be able to, like you said, shouldn't be able to hold that stock. You shouldn't be able to get
blind
rich.
Trust, baby.
Getting rich by being a civil servant should be mutually fucking exclusive.
And hopefully this law goes through. Bipartisan support is great. I hope it goes through.
I hope so
We'll see.
man.
Fingers crossed.
Here we go.
Hey! You suck!
Yeah, we got to talk about Robert Kennedy. Robert Kennedy is a piece of shit, conspiracy theorist, anti-vaxxer, running as a Democrat. What
do you mean third party candidate, Tom?
As a Democrat.
Do you mean third party candidate, Tom? Because I think he might run as a third party candidate, Tom.
Really? I thought he was running as a Democrat.
I don't think he's going to win the nomination.
Oh, he
Tom.
won't win it. But you think he'll continue the race? I think that's good. I don't think he pulls any significant amount of blue vote. And I think he does pull a bunch of anti-vax fucking weirdos from the right.
Hey, there's anti-vax weirdos on the left too, Tom.
That's true. But
it's not like that. It's not like they have a fucking monopoly. That fucking anti-vax started on the left.
It did start on the left. You're not wrong. It did start on the left. I just like his brand of.
He pulls pretty well with Democrats, from what I've seen.
I just
20% or something like that. Like him.
Who likes this guy?
Tom.
He's the worst.
He's the worst. He is the worst.
He's the worst.
What I would love to see though, because I don't know, have you seen this guy working out? Have you seen the pictures of him working out?
No, what?
So this dude's stacked.
Is he ripped?
You've seen him. He's fucking stacked. He's like a big dude. Like he's
really,
and he's on the juice. He's 100%
He's not a young
on
guy.
the juice. There's no way he looks like he does. Okay,
you got to show me a picture.
Hold on a second.
God damn! How old is this guy?
Let's go.
I love that they put stuff on here. So much covers so much of the screen.
That's a fit boy.
You see that? There's no way he's not.
There's
on the
no
juice.
way that's natural.
There's no way he's not on the juice.
How old is he?
Look at.
Also, he's fucking ripped as shit, and he did like 9 push-ups and was like, "Argh!" So like, what is happening there too?
Well, I mean, he's like, he probably doesn't have a fucking shit ton of cardio. He's almost 69.
Jesus Christ.
He's 69 years old and he looks like that.
I mean, he's fucking
Don't tell
Jacked.
me. Don't tell me he's not on the juice, though.
That
right?
dude's
Don't tell me.
1,000% on the juice.
But here's what I would love to see.
Yeah.
I would love to be like, when somebody starts talking to me about how they fucking hate vaccines and all this stuff, I'd be like, cool, you want to do a blood test right now? Do you want to do a blood test, see what's in there? Do you want to see can we see what's in there?
1,000% you're going to piss hot.
Will you piss in this cup for me right now? Because I would love to see what's in that right now.
Right.
Because that's what's going on there.
No.
That doesn't look like what I think is going to happen with a normal person.
No.
I don't think.
There's no way.
I don't think you look like a muscular potato all the time. I don't think that's possible. I just like when I see it, I think you're such a fucking liar.
Yeah,
right?
man.
When I hear this guy talk, when I hear what he has to say, I think you're a fucking liar. You do all the things that he's warning against. And he's a fucking crazy about black people. Where he's talking about how black people, he wrote a book about anti-vax stuff where he, looked on the internet a little while and found some citations that agree with him. So he put him in his book. But here's a guy who has been spreading this anti-vaccination lie forever. I don't even know if this is going to be good on YouTube now that I think about it. Because we're talking about vaccinations. And I wonder if this is we're going to get fucking
Are we going to get kicked off a goddamn...
Even though we clearly are fucking pro-vaccine, man. 100% pro-vaccine. I fucking want everybody to get vaccination. Let's just say that out loud.
Look, I literally have every vaccine available in the United States.
For the COVID.
I've taken them all.
You've taken them all.
I've taken every COVID vaccine. Literally, they have not approved a vaccine that I haven't put in my fucking arm.
You've got the Moderna. You've got the Pfizer.
Johnson &
You've
Johnson.
got the Johnson &
Double
Johnson.
Pfizers.
Did
Moderna.
you get the other one, the Asymmetrica or whatever it is?
No, is that approved? I'll go AstraZeneca.
AstraZeneca.
I'll go get that bitch. Stick it. I'll fucking do shots. I'll fucking... give me those. I've got them all.
Yeah.
I've got them all. I've gotten every booster. I've gotten boosters for the boosters I wasn't supposed to boost. I go to Walgreens one day and CVS the next. I'm pro-vaccine, man.
Like pro-vaccine as you can get, but the problem is the algorithm on YouTube doesn't have any idea. And the moment you talk about that vaccine, they're like, "Oh, you shouldn't be talking about the vaccine." Look, here's what I say about the vaccine. I'm going to say it very clearly in this episode that is going on YouTube, so they know that I said it out loud. Trust your doctors and trust the scientists at the World Health Organization when it comes to vaccination for COVID and when it comes to vaccinations in general. Trust doctors, period. Don't trust dumbass politicians who don't know fuck all, who went digging around on the internet to confirm their own fucking biases and write a book about it and then go on Joe Rogan's podcast where he can be, okay. I didn't know that. We got to get rid of Wi-Fi. By the way, I want to mention we got a voicemail after we played that segment we talked about Joe Rogan having this idiot on his show. And if you missed that show, Joe Rogan had RFK on his show. RFK said, hey, there's this stuff called fucking brain bleeding or brain blood barrier. You should search for it. You should look it up. And Jamie, the assistant for Joe Rogan,
Googled it for a second.
Found it, and then started reading it. The person called our show, and I don't know if this is true or not, but a person called our show and said, by the way, that website that they were looking is RFK's website.
Fucking looked at self-referred.
He seeded the words that you called it, because you said, if you type in these words, you will go to a site that he wants you to go to, because those words are only used in conjunction by quacks. And that's what happened. Someone said they found his site and was reading his site back to him.
Well, of course. Look, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is a fucking weird racist. He's a fucking anti-Semite. He's a goddamn conspiracy theorist. He's a anti-vax guy. He is wrong. He's a liar. He just straight up is a liar. He's been on shows and he's done interviews where he's said crazy shit, like just straight out lies. Like there are there's tens of thousands of studies that back this thing up, this claim up. And it's like, there's not tens of thousands of studies on one subject at all, right? Like that's insane. He's also gone on shows and said things like, well, none of the vaccines have ever been placebo tested. They've all been placebo tested. All of them have been placebo tested. Every single one has been placebo tested. He lies. He just straight up is a liar. He's also an environmentalist. That's the only blue thing I can understand about this motherfucker. He is straight up an environmentalist. And to give him credit, he has some significant amount of responsibility and credit to be taken for helping to clean up the Hudson River. And the Hudson River in and around the New York area was polluted to the point of disgust and has been—
It's in New York. You didn't have to say that.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
It's
no,
in
you
New
didn't say
York.
that.
And so
Yeah.
then everything else follows.
It's filthy.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just,
we knew it.
it's full of rats.
We knew that.
It's
Yeah,
just
garbage
a rat
juice
river.
and rats.
It's a rat river.
It's garbage juice with a garbage bag and a rat on it. It's
Now, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Like, no one's going to take a drink out of the Hudson anytime soon.
Yeah.
But it's vastly better than it was.
Yeah.
And he does deserve some significant amount of credit from what I've read for his advocacy to get some of that to happen. Cool, man.
Yeah.
You were right about one thing. But like literally can't find a second thing this guy's right about.
There's not another thing that I see and I think, oh, that's the best. His anti-Semitism comes when he talks about how he says that the virus was avoiding Jewish people.
Yeah.
He said, and he used worse terms than I just used.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So, and then he's also talking about how he steers black people away from vaccines in general, saying that they are more likely to be vaccine injured, which is not true.
No.
He's lying. Like you say, he's a liar. But then he's also racist about it.
It's so racist.
Yeah.
That shit is so racist. And he's so fucking stupid, he doesn't even know that that's racist.
Yeah.
Like, this is a guy, I can't, and the fact that he polls well
enough where he's not going to, there's no way he'd win a primary, but I think he polls well enough so they think that it's good to keep dropping money behind him, because what happens in this fight is that Biden will be fighting with him in some way, even if there is no primary, right? Even if he doesn't primary him and there isn't actually a primary, there will still be him on the circuit. And if it's someone on the circuit attacking Biden that happens to be a Democrat, it's better for them than the Republicans. So they fund him. It makes sense for them to fund him.
The only consolation is, and I'm just going to say this the way I say this, the only consolation is he is a Kennedy running for president.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm just saying.
Well, he is getting shot. It's just a different kind of shot, Tom. He's getting testosterone shots.
I am only saying
man.
He's getting
a lot of testosterone.
That dude is on.
He's on like a Hulk Hogan regimen.
I know I've mentioned this before, but like my barber is a nationally ranked, and like when I say nationally ranked, like he's in the top 2 or 3 for his weight class power lifter. My barber's like legit, right? And so we talk and like I love the guy. I go every 2 weeks. Like he's become a friend of mine. And like, so he knows what he's talking about is the reason I mentioned this. And we were in the shop a few months ago, maybe 6-8 months ago. And in the chair next to us was this guy, Cecil, who just like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was red as all day long, right? Like weirdly red skinned. Like, how fucking red RFK is. And the guy was like probably also late 60s, early 70s. And the dude was fucking built.
Jacked.
Just straight up Mack truck built, man. And like he finished his haircut and he left. And Jonathan, he starts laughing. He's like, whatever that guy is on is going to kill him tomorrow. Like, because Jonathan unabashedly juices. Like to be a power lifter, they don't test. They all juice, all these guys. He does a ton of gear. We've talked about the kind of stuff he does. I wouldn't do any of that stuff. He understands the risks and benefits of it. He's like, there's no fucking way. This is a guy who's in the gym all day, every day, right? Like, he's like, there is no way a man that age looks like that without shooting everything at all. Like everything.
He just goes home.
Is in his veins.
Goes home, picks up a horse and puts it in a Vita Blood.
For
and
real, man.
Drinks down a whole horse.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, as we get older, like, no. And all those guys look red, dude. They all look
at him. Just look at him and tell me. And then I'm 100% serious. RFK, come on our show. But if you come on our show, you have to piss in a cup. We get to test it and see what's in your body. I want to see what's in your fucking body before you tell everybody else to avoid medicines.
Right.
Okay?
Fucking liar.
I know you are. But what am I?
This is so good. This is so
This is the best thing.
This whole show has been political. I don't know. I mean, we haven't really covered anything skeptical, but that's okay.
Sorry, guys.
This is so good.
I guess the RFK is skeptical stuff.
I guess it is a little, yeah.
All right, so The Hill, Biden shares video of Marjorie Taylor Greene's speech to promote his agenda, and it fucking crushed,
It's
by
so
the way.
good.
It got fucking views. So here, all the tweet says, all Joe wrote was, I approve this message, and it's just Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Okay, so here we go. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene's speech about Joe Biden that he turned into a commercial.
It's so great.
Joe Biden had the largest public investment in social infrastructure and environmental programs that is actually finishing what FDR started, that LBJ expanded on, and Joe Biden is attempting to complete. Programs to address education, medical care, urban problems, rural poverty, transportation, Medicare, Medicaid, labor unions. And he still is working on it.
Oh, and the thing is, like, it blew up.
It's so good. Can I just play how she says education really quickly? I just want to play. Listen to how she sneers the word education.
Because she doesn't have one.
Complete. Programs to address education.
Education.
Medical care, urban problems, rural.
Urban problems.
You know she wants to drop an N-word there.
Oh,
so
my
bad.
God.
You know she's just dripping it right now. She's like, God, I want to just scream. I want to put my hood on. Can you let me put my hood on real quick?
It's in my trunk. I bring it with me everywhere.
God, it's such a great speech. She gave the speech. And to be honest, even after that, because I watched the speech she actually gave, not the one that was edited.
Yeah.
I watched the speech she actually gave, and when you're listening to it, she's saying all that stuff, and she's trying to be sarcastic, but she's not very good at it.
Right.
So she's trying to be sarcastic, and it's not coming off like that. It comes off like she's kind of saying, hey, Joe Biden did a pretty good job.
Right.
And then she stops at the very end, and she says, he's still trying. And then she calls him like a communist or whatever after it's all over. So he cut the communist part out or whatever it was at the very end. But it wasn't all that compelling. I watched it while she was the actual speech, and it's not like it's hugely damning. In fact, if you didn't tell me ahead of time, I might have thought, what is she doing up there?
Yeah, right. Like is this like AI or something?
What is
like,
happening? Yeah, right. Yeah.
Like there's no way this is real except for like, the thing is, like, with Marjorie Taylor Greene, just like Lauren Boebert, just like Matt Gaetz, just like Josh Hawley, like none of these guys are good speakers.
Yeah.
None of these guys are charismatic. She's not charismatic. Yeah. She is not a good speaker. What these people are is mean.
Yeah.
They're mean and they're fearless in their obstruction, right? So they are a massive thorn in the side, even to Kevin McCarthy.
Yeah.
Like they are this contingent of dickheads are the ones who threw all the fucking like divisive wedge issue shit into the recent defense spending bill. Like that's all in there because Kevin McCarthy can't get his fucking arms around his own party. And these fucking people threw it in there. And like people on the right are just like, what the fuck are you all doing? We don't throw this in defense spending bills. What is even happening?
Yeah, man.
Like what is even happening? So these are not people who are like, they're not famous and influential because they're well-spoken. They're not famous and influential because they know how to give a fiery, impassioned speech. They're famous and influential because they will throw blood in the gears.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
You're right.
They're just like, yeah, fucking throw blood in there.
You're right.
More blood. More blood.
Yeah, man. I can't disagree. And I think like what is happening is that every time they speak and try to be clever, they look buffoonish.
Yeah, they're bad at it.
And they're really bad at it. And this is a great, of all the things that you could say about Joe Biden's a pretty good politician.
Yeah.
And he can easily sense when there's a way to manipulate them. And what a great troll this is.
Oh.
I mean, really, genuinely, one, it's not mean-spirited, it's poking fun. So I think there is a difference there.
Yeah.
And I think that this is a really awesome, on the line, sort of very funny thing to pull off that I think that his team did a really good job pulling
Crushed
off.
it.
I think it's a really well done video that is clever and funny and at the same time
highlights his message.
But also, there's a lot of people, and I'm not saying this about just Republicans because I'm sure there's plenty of unintelligent Democrats too. But there's a lot of people who follow Marjorie Taylor Greene, very much like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who probably are not super deep thinkers. And they might see something like this and be confused by it.
Dude, I think this.
You know what I mean? Like, I wonder if there are some people who are not, room temperature IQ people.
Yeah.
Who might just be a little confused by what they're hearing and what is happening. Why is she praising him? Should I think differently about Joe Biden?
Should I think differently about Marjorie Taylor Greene?
It might change some of, and I'm not saying it will, but there's a possibility in some people that are a little dim, a little slow.
Yeah.
This
is his, sir, this is a Wendy's moment. You know what I mean?
It really is.
Like, it really is. Like, that's what it is. All he had to do was be like, I approve this message is the perfect caption.
It really is great. Yeah.
Like nothing more.
Yeah. It's you mad. It's fucking amazing.
This message. It is.
It's you mad, bro.
It's you mad, bro. It's sir, this is a Wendy's. It's fucking, it's so good.
I love it.
It's so good. She's got to be fucking fuming.
Oh, well, she sent a message back to say that you know what I was trying to get at or something. It was so lame. It was such a lame response. But again, Twitter's a cesspit. So what you see underneath this video is a million people posting, Hunter's dick pic or whatever. You know what I mean? Right. Because these people are awful trolls and there's no more moderation for the right wing on that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
All right, so thank you for joining us back on YouTube. Maybe the last week we talked about vaccination. Be sure to get vaccinated and be sure to follow all the guidelines put out by the World Health Organization and your family doctor. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this week. We're going to leave you, like we always do, though, with the Skeptic's Creed.
Credulity is not a virtue. It's fortune cookie cutter, mommy issue, hypno-Babylon bullshit. Couched in scientician, double bubble, toil and trouble, pseudo quasi alternative, acupunctuating, pressurized, stereogram, pyramidal, free energy healing, watered downward spiral, brain deadpan sales pitch, late night info docutainment. Leo, Pisces, cancer cures, detox, reflex, foot massage, death in towers, tarot cards, psychic healing, crystal balls, Bigfoot, Yeti, aliens, churches, mosques and synagogues, temples, dragons, giant worms, Atlantis, dolphins, truthers, birthers, witches, wizards, vaccine nuts, shaman healers, evangelists, conspiracy, doublespeak, stigmata, nonsense. Expose your sides. Thrust your hands, bloody, evidential, conclusive. Doubt even this.
The opinions and information provided on this podcast are intended for entertainment purposes only. All opinions are solely that of Glory Hole Studios, LLC. Cognitive Dissonance makes no representations as to accuracy, completeness, currentness, suitability, or validity of any information and will not be liable for any errors, damages, or butthurt arising from consumption. All information is provided on an as-is basis. No refunds. Produced in association with the local Dairy Council and viewers like you.